Let me tell you something straight from the soul of a woman who has lived, fought, cried, and gotten back up more times than most will in their wildest imagination. There's a moment in a woman's life when she starts to raise her standards. When she decides enough is enough. And from that moment forward, everything starts to shift. It's not a small, comfortable change. It's a dramatic upheaval. It's a deep, powerful transformation. And when it happens, the people around her, the people who were comfortable with her staying small, weak, and unsure, well, they tremble. See, I've lived through wars. Not literal wars with soldiers and artillery, but wars within myself. Wars against doubts, against shame, against the oppressive messages I was fed by a world that prefers women stay small and powerless. I remember when I crossed that invisible barrier and decided, from now on, I will raise my standards. I will no longer let anyone treat me less than I am. That was the moment my true power was born. That was the moment the people who were comfortable with me staying in my corner started to panic. This happens to women when we raise our standards. We become a mirror, reflecting back to everyone else their own cowardice. The people who were weak alongside us, who kept us small by validating our doubts and weaknesses, suddenly find us threatening. They say we've gotten too much, too ambitious, too dramatic, too unwilling to compromise on our worth. But you know what I say to that? Too much for whom? Too much for a world that profits from women doubting their power? Too much for people who liked me when I kept myself small and powerless? To hell with that. When I raised my standards, I made a vow. I decided I would no longer accept friendships, relationships, or conditions that fell below my worth. If you weren't adding to me, you were subtracting from me. And I cut you off without a second thought. That might seem savage. That might seem harsh. But when you realize you're made of something greater, something eternal, you start honoring it. There's a kind of liberation in cutting away the people, habits, and thoughts that kept you small. It feels a bit like shedding skin, a painful but necessary renewal. This upheaval rippled through all areas of my life. My friendships fell away first. All the people who were comfortable with me staying. A doormat, a pushover, a weak woman, gone. My relationships followed. The men who liked me unsure of myself suddenly didn't know what to do with me. My workplace seemed oppressive and restrictive. The roles I was expected to stay in, the salaries I was meant to be grateful for, all fell short of what I knew I was worth. So I demanded more. I demanded respect. I demanded fairness. I demanded recognition for my skills and my experience. Some called me aggressive. Some called me a troublemaker. But you know what I call myself? A woman who knows her own power and isn't afraid to use it. I raised my standards and I raised myself. I decided I'd no longer be a side character in someone else's story. I'd be the lead actor in my own. That meant letting friendships fade, letting relationships dissolve, letting a job that treated me unfairly come to an abrupt end. It meant staring into the face of uncertainty and trusting myself more than I trusted the world's promises. The result? Pure transformation, pure power, pure authenticity. I fell in love with myself in a way I hadn't thought was possible. I walked into a room and the energy shifted. People noticed. Some were drawn to me, to the confidence I exuded. Others were repelled by it because it challenged their own cowardice. But this is a powerful principle. When you raise your standards, you become a filter. Your energy naturally weeds out those who can't match it and attracts those who appreciate it. See, when I raised my standards, I made peace with the fact that I'd lose some people, but I'd find myself. That to me was worth it. That to me was non-negotiable. my peace, my happiness, my future, were more important than anyone's need for me to stay small. And from that place, I grew into something I'd previously thought impossible. A woman who was unfuckwithable. A woman who demanded the best and got it. A woman who lived by her own code, not anyone else's. Let me tell you something about this journey of raising your standards. It isn't a straight path. It isn't a nice little walk in the park. It's a battle. It's messy. It's painful. It rips away the comfortable lies you were living under and leaves you face to face with the raw truth of who you are and what you want. But this, my friend, is the price you pay to become the woman you were meant to be. See, when you raise your standards, you will be misunderstood. The people who were comfortable seeing you diminish yourself will say, "You've gotten a big head." They will say you're too much now, too opinionated, too ambitious, too unwilling to please everyone else. But this, my friend, is a sure sign you're headed in the right direction. Your transformation is disturbing their peace, a peace that was founded on your submission. Your unwillingness to stay small highlights their unwillingness to grow. That's not your problem. That's their mirror. When I raised my standards, I remember the first big shock came from someone I thought would celebrate me. A close friend who'd gotten used to me always dropping everything to help, to be there, to serve. But the moment I started honoring myself first, honoring my time and my energy, honoring my goals and my peace, she turned on me. She called me selfish, distant, egotistical. Oh, please, that's rich. The woman who drops her whole soul to please everyone is a martyr. The woman who finds herself again is a monster in their eyes. So be it. I'd rather be a monster who knows her own worth than a martyr who disappears piece by piece. This is a key piece of your transformation. People will try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They will say you've changed, that you're not the person you used to be. But that's the whole point. The person I used to be was blind to her own power, deaf to her own desires, numb to her own potential. That woman is gone now. She fell away, piece by piece, when I raised my standards. And in her place stands a woman who knows exactly what she wants and will not settle for less. Your relationships will reflect this dramatic internal change. Some will grow with you. Some will fade away. That's the way it should be. The people meant for you will appreciate you more now, not less. The ones who were attached to your smallness will diminish and disappear. It's a form of divine purification, a clearing away of what no longer serves you, making space for what will. So when friendships dissolve, when relationships break, when jobs come to an abrupt end, celebrate it. It means you're making room for something greater. It means you're honoring your future instead of staying enslaved to your past. See, a woman who raised her standards cannot stay in the same environment. She cannot keep the same habits, the same routines, the same stories. Everything must align with her new view of herself and her worth. That means choosing differently in all things, from the food you put in your body, to the messages you consume, to the people you allow into your circle, to the goals you pursue. It's a total overhaul, a deep renewal. It's painful, yes, because letting go always is, but it's also exhilarating, because you're making space for something greater, something more true. I remember when I raised my standards, I started honoring myself in tiny ways first. I started going to bed when I was tired instead of staying up to please someone else. I started saying no when I meant no, and yes when I meant yes. I started speaking up when I was disrespected, and walked away when I was not valued. Small choices, repeated over time, paved the path for a dramatic transformation. Pure power isn't a dramatic overnight change. It's a collection of small decisions made from a place of deep self-respect. That's what transforms you. That's what raised me from the ashes of my former self into the woman I am today. A woman who bows to no one and answers only to herself. So when you raise your standards, you will lose people. You will lose habits. You will lose routines. But what you find in their place is something more profound. You find peace. You find clarity. You find power. Pure power. The ability to say, this is what I want. This is what I will allow. This is what I will pursue. Pure power comes from honoring yourself first. Pure power comes from trusting yourself more than you trust the chaos of the world. Pure power comes from choosing your future over your past. That, my friend, is the transformation you're experiencing when you raise your standards. Let me be frank with you. When you raise your standards, you will come face to face with your greatest opponent, yourself. That's right. The greatest battle you will fight isn't against the people who doubted you, dismissed you, or tried to keep you small. It's against that voice within you that says you're not worth more, that you shouldn't ask for more, that you should stay in your lane and be a nice, compliant woman. That voice, that poison, was instilled in you by years, decades, generations of conditioning. It's not your voice. It's theirs. But it lives in you. And it must be defeated. See, when you raise your standards, you have to conquer your own doubts first. There were nights when I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd made a huge mistake. Did I cut off friendships that were pretty good? Did I quit a job without a backup plan just because I demanded more? Did I destroy relationships that were comfortable, if not loving, simply because I believed I deserved something greater? That's when the doubts gnawed at me most. That's when I questioned myself, wondering if I'd gotten in over my head. But then I remembered something crucial. Staying small was killing me slowly. Staying comfortable was a death sentence for my soul. Whatever doubts I felt were temporary. Discomfort, growing pains, not permanent damage. Rising to my true potential was going to be painful. It was going to be messy. It was going to be confusing. But it was worth it. So I pressed forward, ignoring the doubts, trusting myself more and more each day. Your doubts will come in many forms. Sometimes it will be your own voice. Sometimes it will be the voice of a friend, a family member, a lover, a colleague. It will say things like, "Who do you think you are? Don't get a big head. Don't aim too high. You're bound to be disappointed." But I want you to hear me now, from a woman who has crossed this path and come through the other side. This is a lie, all of it. It's a trick to keep you safely small, safely powerless, safely predictable. The moment you realize you are made for more, the moment you raise your standards, you become a wild card in a world that prefers. People stay in their place. Your transformation is a form of rebellion. It's a dramatic rejection of the roles you were meant to play. The submissive wife, the overworking friend, the people pleaser who disregards herself to keep everyone else comfortable. But you're not here for their peace. You're here for your power. And pure power means honoring your worth, honoring your desires, honoring your future more than your past. Pure power means trusting your ability to grow into whatever you need to become in order to live the life you want. Pure power means choosing yourself over the roles you were handed at birth. See, when I raised my standards, I crossed a kind of Rubicon. There was no turning back. I'd tasted a freedom I hadn't previously believed was available to me. I'd gotten a glimpse of myself unfettered, undiminished, undiluted. That view, however brief, was enough to destroy all my excuses and illuminate all my possibilities. There was a moment when I decided, I will pursue this, whatever it costs me. That moment was the true birth of pure power in me. That moment made me unwilling to be anything less than what I truly am, a force to be reckoned with. Your transformation will follow a similar path. There will be a moment when you say, enough. I will not stay small. I will not stay powerless. That moment will be painful. It will be dramatic. It will be decisive. But once you cross it, there's no going back. There's a peace that comes from honoring your soul's deep desires. A peace that all the chaos in the world cannot shake. There's a power that comes from trusting yourself, from honoring your worth, from choosing your future over your past. That peace, that power, it's your birthright. So when you raise your standards, expect resistance from yourself, from those around you, from a world designed to keep you small. But also know this, resistance is a sign you're growing, you're shifting, you're transforming. If nobody doubts you, if nobody resists you, it means you're not threatening the status quo. But the moment you do, the moment you start honoring your true worth, you become a threat to a world that profits from your submission. That's when you know you're on the right path. That's when you know you're transforming your pain into pure power. Let me tell you something you need to hear. Something I wish someone had whispered in my ear when I first started this journey. When you raise your standards, you're going to disappoint people. Oh yes, you will. There are people who are attached to your staying small. There are people who benefit from you not growing, not blooming, not transforming into your fullest self. It's not because you're a bad person, it's because your metamorphosis highlights their stagnation. Your rise underscores their staying put. Your progress reveals their paralysis. So when you raise your standards, expect backlash. The people who were comfortable with you staying powerless will say you're changing, but not in a good way. They will say you're abandoning them, getting a big head, that you're too much now. Oh, please. That kind of criticism is a badge of honor. It means you're disturbing the peace of their comfortable dysfunction. It means you're forcing them to reflect on their own choices. It means you're a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see in it. See, pure power comes from honoring your path, regardless of what outsiders say. Pure power means choosing your future over their approval. Pure power means trusting your soul's direction more than their doubts. Pure power means loving yourself enough to say, your opinion of me is none of my business. That's when you become unfuckwithable, when you detach from their judgments and connect deeply with your own worth. When I raised my standards, I crossed a dramatic boundary in my relationships. I stopped trying to make everyone comfortable with me, and I started making myself comfortable in my own skin. I let friendships fade that were based on me staying small. I let relationships dissolve that were founded on my ability to appease and please. That was painful. I'd be a liar if I said it was easy. There were nights I cried, wondering if I'd made a mistake, wondering if I'd crossed a point of no return. But then something remarkable happened. New people started entering my life. People who valued me, supported me, challenged me, and celebrated me. Not for staying small, but for growing and blooming into my fullest form. Your surroundings will reflect back to you what you believe about yourself. Raise your standards, and your circle will change. Your friendships will become more reciprocal, more empowering. Your relationships will become more loving, more respectful. Your opportunities will expand because you're no longer sending signal to the universe that you will settle for less. Pure power signals to the universe, I am ready for more. And when you send that signal, more finds you. More peace, more happiness, more abundance. It's not magic. It's a reflection of your own transformation. See, a woman who has raised her standards operates from abundance, not scarcity. She knows there are more opportunities, more loving people, more success stories available to her than she previously believed. So she lets go of scarcity thinking, the lie that there's nothing better, and starts acting from a place of deep confidence in herself and her future. That confidence is threatening to a world that profits from your doubts. That confidence signals, your power over me is gone. This is the ultimate transformation. It's not about a new job or a new relationship, although those often follow. It's about a deep internal shift from powerless to powerful, from doubting yourself to trusting yourself, from pleasing everyone else to honoring yourself first. Pure power is not aggression or domination. It's authenticity, maturity, and deep peace within yourself. It's the ability to say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and this is what I will no longer allow. So, when you raise your standards and the world starts shifting around you, when friendships fade, relationships dissolve, opportunities arise, remember this: you're not losing anything you were meant to keep. You're making space for something greater. You're shedding a skin that no longer fits. You're growing into your greatest self. Pure power comes from honoring that process, trusting it, and letting it unfold. Your future is a reflection of the choices you make today. If you raise your standards today, your future will reflect those elevated choices. If you stay small today, your future will reflect your smallness. The power to transform your future lies in your ability to raise your standards now. Not when it's convenient, not when everyone approves. Now, that's pure power. That's transformation. That's your honoring your worth in a world that tried to diminish it. Let me be frank with you, my friend. When you raise your standards, you are not just shifting your own life. You are challenging an entire ecosystem. The people, the habits, the routines, the stories, all of it has gotten comfortable in your smallness. So, when you grow, everything around you is forced to reassess itself. Some will celebrate this, some will resist it. But make no mistake, you are a disruptor now. You are a woman who is unwilling to stay powerless just to keep everyone else comfortable. Pure power comes from honoring your own transformation above the preferences of those who would rather you stay small. This is messy. It's confusing. It feels disorienting at first. There were moments when I raised my standards that I felt stranded, unsure of where I belonged, unsure of who my friends were, unsure of which direction to move forward. But then I remembered something I want you to remember now. This is a temporary state. It's a liminal space, the in-between, when you're letting go of the old and making room for the new. It's a kind of wilderness you must pass through on your way to your greatest self. Pure power means trusting this process, trusting yourself, trusting that something greater is being prepared for you on the other side. Your doubts will come back, I guarantee it. There will be nights when you say, "Who am I to demand more?" There will be moments when you question whether you made the right choices. That's okay. That's human. But pure power lies in honoring your doubts without letting them dictate your future. Pure power means feeling the fear, the uncertainty, the shame, and choosing forward anyway. Pure power means honoring your worth above all else. Choosing your future over your past. Choosing your greatest potential over your greatest doubts. When you raise your standards, you will find your voice in a way you hadn't previously. Your yes will become a true yes, not a people-pleasing reflex. Your no will become a complete sentence, not something you need to justify or explain. That, my friend, is pure power. Owning your choices, honoring your preferences, trusting your judgment. There is a deep peace that comes from this. There is a calm confidence. There is a feeling that you are anchored in something greater than the chaos around you. Pure power is a kind of peace. A peace that comes from within, not from external validation. Your relationships will reflect this peace. The people who stay in your life will appreciate you for honoring yourself. The people who left were meant to go. That's a hard pill to swallow, I know, but it's true. Everyone who exits your life when you raise your standards was attached to your smallness, not your soul. Pure power means honoring the soul's path, not the ego's preferences. Pure power means trusting that whatever falls away makes room for something more aligned, more loving, more true. See, when I raised my standards, I fell in love with myself in a way I hadn't previously. I fell in love with my ability to conquer my doubts, to conquer my conditioning, to conquer my past. I fell in love with the woman I was becoming, a woman who demanded more from life and got it. Pure power starts from loving yourself first. It starts from honoring your worth without needing the world's validation. Pure power is an internal state, a deep, unshakable knowledge that you are enough, you are worthy, you are powerful, regardless of circumstance. So when you raise your standards and find yourself misunderstood or unsupported, remember this: you are not meant for everyone. Pure power means trusting that the people meant for you will stay, and the people meant to leave will go. Pure power means honoring your path even when it's a path less traveled. Pure power means choosing your future over your past. Pure power means trusting yourself more than the chaos, more than the doubts, more than the judgments of those who do not yet see you. Pure power means loving yourself enough to grow, to become, to transform, regardless of the cost. Your greatest transformation is not a dramatic moment. It's a collection of small choices made over time. It's choosing peace over chaos, honoring your worth over pleasing everyone, trusting your future more than your past. Pure power is cultivated in the daily decisions you make. To speak up, to say no, to walk away, to pursue your passions, to align your life with your values. Pure power is a lifestyle, a discipline, a practice. It's a way of honoring who you really are. So I want you to remember this. From your sassy, savage grandmother, pure power is your birthright. It's not something you need to find outside of you. It's something you uncover within you when you raise your standards and become unwilling to stay small. Pure power is your soul's true expression. Pure power is you, unhindered, undiluted, fully alive. Raise your standards and watch it emerge. Let me be frank with you once more, because a woman who's lived through decades of trial, transformation, and renewal has a few hard truths to share. Pure power is not for the weak of heart. Pure power is not for those who want the path made easy and comfortable. Pure power is for those who are willing to pay the price of their own evolution. And make no mistake, there is a price. There will be friendships you lose. There will be relationships you let go of. There will be nights you lie in your bed, staring into the dark, wondering if you made a mistake. That's the price of pure power. But it's a price you will gladly pay once you realize what you're getting in return. Your soul back, your dignity back, your future back. See, when you raise your standards, you're not adding something on. You're shedding something off. You're dropping the stories you were told about your worth, the roles you were forced into, the doubts you internalized from a world unwilling to celebrate you. Pure power is a process of liberation, letting go of all that isn't true about you and honoring all that is. Pure power is a return to your authenticity, your ability to inhabit your own skin without shame or apology. Pure power is a deep yes to yourself, your desires, your goals, your future, regardless of who may disapprove. Your greatest transformation comes when you realize you were never powerless. You were conditioned to believe you were. Pure power is simply you waking up to the fact that the power you were searching for in external sources, validation, accolades, relationships, was within you all along. Pure power is the ability to validate yourself, appreciate yourself, celebrate yourself without needing the world's permission. Pure power is when you become your own greatest ally instead of your worst critic. Pure power is when you learn to trust yourself, your intuition, your choices, your future, more than you trust the chaos of the world. This process will require you to confront your greatest doubts. It will require you to face your greatest disappointments. It will require you to let the people you were afraid to lose walk away. But pure power is a purification process. It cleans away everything that isn't true, everything that isn't loving, everything that isn't honoring your highest path. Pure power cuts through the deception and reveals what's real. Pure power lets you see yourself not through the filter of your doubts or your past, but through the pure, clear view of your soul. I want you to remember this. Pure power is not aggression. It's authenticity. Pure power is not domination. It's liberation. Pure power is not ego. It's soul. Pure power is not needing to control everything. It's trusting that you're already enough. Pure power is not forcing. It's allowing. Pure power is not weakness. It's a deep, unyielding strength. A resolve to live your greatest expression, regardless of obstacles. Pure power means honoring yourself first, trusting your path, and letting the rest fall into place. See? When you raise your standards, you align with your highest self, your future self, the woman you were meant to become. Pure power lets you become her. Pure power lets you grow into your greatest expression. Pure power lets you pursue your passions without shame or regret. Pure power lets you manifest your desires because you are a match for them. Pure power lets you attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your true worth. Pure power lets you create a life you love from the inside out. Pure power lets you live on your own terms. Your greatest battles will be internal. Letting go of scarcity, letting go of doubts, letting go of people-pleasing, letting go of shame. Pure power comes from choosing yourself repeatedly, choosing your future over your past, choosing your peace over chaos, choosing your authenticity over conformity. Pure power is a discipline. It's a daily decision. It's a habit you cultivate, a way of being you become. Pure power grows each time you honor your worth, each time you say yes to your future and no to your past. Pure power compounds. It starts small and then expands until it permeates your whole life. Your pure power is a light in the world, a light that guides you forward and signals to everyone else that you will not diminish yourself to suit their preferences. Pure power says, I am here, I am valuable, I am powerful, and I will not apologize for it. Pure power means you will no longer be invisible, disregarded, or powerless. Pure power means you will take up space, pursue your goals, and live without regret. Pure power means you will become a force for good, for yourself and for the world, simply by honoring who you truly are. So when you raise your standards and when you pursue pure power, you are not just transforming yourself. You are transforming your legacy. The future generations, your children, your grandchildren, will feel the ripple effects of your choices. They will grow up in a world where honoring oneself is normal, where choosing peace over chaos is expected, where pure power is recognized and valued. Your transformation is a gift not just for you, but for everyone who comes after you. Pure power leaves a legacy of dignity, authenticity, and freedom. Pure power transforms not just your future, but the future of those you love. Let me say it plain and clear, without fluff or deception. Pure power isn't for the faint of heart. Pure power is for the woman who dares to break free from a cage she didn't even know she was in. Pure power is for the woman who finds herself stranded in the wilderness, and instead of begging for a ride back to her past, she starts designing a path forward with her own two hands. Pure power is for the woman who lets the doubts, the rumors, and the judgments of small minds fall away from her, like ashes from a renewal flame. Pure power is for the woman who decides she will no longer be defined by her worst chapters, but by the future she dares to create. Pure power is for you. Your greatest breakthrough will come when you realize this. You were meant to be powerful all along. The doubts you carry were not your own. They were handed to you by a world that profits from your smallness. Pure power starts when you lay aside their doubts and doubts of your own, and you say, "Not today. Today, I rise." Pure power starts when you lift your chin, straighten your spine, and resolve to pursue your destiny with a boldness that scares those who were comfortable with your submission. Pure power starts when you realize you have a mission, a purpose, something only you can do. And you will not let anyone or anything keep you from it. Your transformation is a form of rebellion. Pure power is a form of resistance. Pure power says, "I will not conform to a world that disregards me. I will transform myself, and in doing so, I will transform the world around me." Pure power rejects the lie that you are powerless, weak, or less than. Pure power affirms that you are a force of nature, a woman made from spirit, from ancestry, from hard lessons, and you have something unique to contribute. Pure power finds its roots in authenticity and its wings in action. Pure power is not a feeling. It's a way of choosing day after day to honor yourself and your future. See, when you raise your standards, you're not just improving your own life. You're shifting a culture. The people around you will be forced to reassess their own choices. Some will follow you. Many will stay where they are. But you will become a lighthouse in a dark world. A clear, powerful, unmistakable signal to those who are ready to rise alongside you. Pure power is contagious. Pure power sparks pure power in everyone it touches. Pure power transforms not just a woman, but a community. Pure power transforms generations. Pure power has a ripple effect far greater than you can imagine. So, when you find yourself doubting, when you find yourself afraid, when you find yourself unsure, remember this, my friend. Pure power is your birthright. Pure power is not something you need to learn. It's something you need to remember. Pure power lives in your ability to say yes to your greatest future and no to everything else. Pure power is honoring your worth, honoring your goals, honoring your soul's mission. Pure power is choosing a future filled with peace, abundance, love, and authenticity. A future you create with your own hands, not a future dictated by someone else's doubts. Your greatest transformation will come from trusting yourself in a world that has trained you to doubt yourself. Pure power grows when you say, "I will be the author of my own story." Pure power expands when you realize you have choices. You always have. And you start making choices that align with your highest self. Pure power is choosing peace over chaos, choosing maturity over impulsiveness, choosing discipline over temptation. Pure power is choosing your future over your past, choosing your authenticity over their approval, choosing your happiness over their doubts. Pure power is choosing you over and over and over again, until choosing you becomes your greatest habit. So, when you raise your standards, when you pursue pure power, you are not being dramatic or impulsive. You are honoring a deep, soul-level need to become who you were meant to be. Pure power lets you break free from roles you were forced into, relationships you were trapped in, and stories you were conditioned to believe. Pure power lets you become the woman you were meant to be, without shame, without regret, without apologies. Pure power lets you lift your head, look forward, and move boldly into your future. Pure power lets you conquer obstacles, doubts, and disappointments, and emerge on the other side more alive, more whole, more yourself. Your future is not something you wait for. It's something you create. Pure power is the ability to do just that, to create a future in your own image, a future filled with peace, abundance, authenticity, and dignity. Pure power lets you say, I am not a victim of my past. I am the builder of my future. Pure power lets you break generational chains and set a new standard for everyone who comes after you. Pure power lets you become a woman your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren can be proud of. A woman who lived without fear, without shame, without regret. A woman who chose herself and in doing so, blessed everyone who followed in her wake. So here's your sassy, savage grandmother's final word for this installment. Pure power isn't a destination. It's a journey. It's a daily discipline. It's a state of being. It's a vow you make to yourself that you will no longer diminish who you are or what you want just to keep the peace. Pure power means honoring the peace within you first and letting everything else align afterwards. Pure power means trusting your ability to handle whatever comes and honoring your ability to grow through it all. Pure power means choosing, again and again, to become the greatest, fullest, most magnificent expression of yourself. Pure power means you in all your glory, undiluted, unhindered, and unapologetic.